Today on Us Weekly's Reality Recap, we're breaking down part one of the intense and emotional Vanderpump Rules reunion. And the most shocking revelations from Ariana's Call Her Daddy podcast appearance. Plus, Carl Radke teases Summer House reunion after Danielle and Lindsay's tense standoff.
I think the reunion, we covered that a lot. And, I'm optimistic that there could be some moving forward, but you'll have to see. It was an intense reunion for sure.
We've got that plus so much more in today's Reality Recap. Hey guys, Christina Garbaldi here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy DeCamp, and wow, what a reunion.
What a reunion. Even Summer House wasn't that bad this week.
No, it's been a great week of Bravo reality TV. We're going to break it all down. Before we do, like always, see what you guys had to say about last week's show. Cornelia says, if she's in a treatment center, they suggest you write to make your amends and even confront people until you are able to sit down with that person. I have a feeling her family has a lot to do with this, talking about Rachel possibly being in a treatment center and her sending these letters to Tom that Ariana found.
All right. I get that. But did it have to go to their house? Like, there have been another address she could have figured out to send it to.
Yeah. But then
he's on tour and she's in the house.
But then Ariana says on Call Her Daddy that she sent a postcard as well. So like Ariana could totally read that. Like,
right.
Oh my God.
Oh God. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's so cringe.
All right. Renee Rose said, don't disrespect Jackson Kristen. They are the OGs in this. They started this TV show. Like, that's why people started watching years ago. I would love to see them come back. All right. Fair.
I feel like the announcement is coming that they'll be back soon. And then Classy Conversations with Rhonda says, I don't think Paige is ready for a relationship with Craig. She's not ready for marriage. And I think he's figuring that out. Long distance relationships are tough. I think he's going to end up walking away. He's never going to go to New York and she's never going to go to South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing that they have to work through because, somebody's got to move eventually.
Right. They do get more into it this week. And this week I felt a little bit more solid about them and what she said, but we'll get to that when we do our recap in just a bit.
All right. Well, before we do, let's see what happened in the news and can't even keep up, but Ariana did a Call Her Daddy podcast. And so we're going to break down the biggest revelations. So Sandoval claimed in April that he tried to end the pair's relationship. Remember, he's like, I've tried to break up with her a million times. Well, on Valentine's Day, he said that he tried to break up with her, but she had a different recount of that night. She said that they went out with friends, including Raquel, and he brought her flowers. They had dinner. She said later on at home that he had a hours-long conversation about how he was having a midlife crisis. And she said, and I said, if we break up, I'm probably going to quit the show. I will probably leave Los Angeles. I'll probably deactivate my Instagram. And he found that to be very offensive. I was never saying that I was going to kill myself. I was saying that this life will be over for me because I will go do something else. He knows that that's not what I was saying. She also confessed later on that if the cheating scandal had not made headlines, she probably would have broke up with him as well. So two totally different accounts of this.
Stories.
Yeah.
It is so hard when you hear it coming from their mouths. Like, now I fully believe that, I mean, for many reasons, because she's obviously the more stable one in this former relationship, but like, also it just sounds like, yeah, that's totally something I feel like she would say to him. Like,
I mean, I would probably, if I was in that situation too, be like, well, if we're going to break up, like, I'm just going to kind of, maybe disappear for a little bit and kind of take that. I don't know. Oh, God. So many things in this.
Yeah. All right. Well, she also admitted on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen earlier this month that she was aware of Sandoval hooking up with Miami Girl in the early days of their relationship. We saw that play out on the show a while back. When asked how many other times she thinks her ex may have cheated or been unfaithful before their breakup, she replied, I don't know. She said, there was one time years and years ago that I got a DM that was like, Tom hooked up with my friend in San Diego. And I brought it up over and over and over again. And it was like, absolutely not. That now I'm like, I think that was a yes. Yeah, I think there was many more times.
I'm so surprised that more people haven't come forward.
Yeah.
I feel like or maybe he did, like there was this report that he made girls sign NDAs, which he denied, but maybe he did because I feel like there's probably like so many like fangirls that throw themselves at him and I'm sure he would have hooked up with them. But this to me was the most shocking. Well, we kind of knew that this happened. So she admitted that she believes that Tom and Raquel did have sex in the house while she was there. She said, I think they had sex in my guest room while I was sleeping in my own bed, that he and I went to bed together. And then he left the bed and went to the guest room and effed her. Oh my God, so gross.
That's just sick. I would burn that house.
Seriously, I would too. I would too.
All right. She also shared her feelings on Raquel now. She said she described her as lost after learning of the affair. She said, it's hard to say, but based on what I've seen, she's lost and empty. I don't really know what's going on. When asked whether she's heard from Raquel since the scandal broke, she said she got a text. It was very like, I don't know what to say except that I'm sorry. And then at the reunion, it was very subpar. Of course, we saw this text in the reunion last night, so we will get to that.
We will get to that. Well, like we kind of said before, Tom denied multiple dating rumors amid the fallout of his affair. In a since deleted, this was crazy. In a since deleted TikTok shared by TLC star Darcy Silva's daughter, she claimed that her mom had an affair with or hooked up with Tom at one point. She said, me watching the Vanderpump Rules finale with my mom and her telling me she had a fling with Tom Sandoval 10 years ago. Tom's rep denied this, saying Tom absolutely did not have an affair with Darcy. He also maintained that he is just friends with influencer Carly Hale, who he's been seen out and about with in Austin, Texas. He said he recently hung out with her because he happened to be in Austin performing with his band. I don't know. I mean, he'd be stupid. Well, I mean, he's stupid to begin with, but he'd be stupid to like kind of jump into a new relationship after all this anyway.
Yeah. I cannot see the Darcy thing being
no way.
I wouldn't put a lot past him right now, but that one I just can't see.
I can't get behind that one.
All right. Well, Charlie is speaking out as well. She claimed she heard rumors about Tom Sandoval's infidelity years before cheating with Raquel. She revealed on the Vile Files podcast, someone came to me and said, I was getting my hair done and my hairdresser told me that one of their clients had to sign an NDA to F Tom Sandoval. But this was my first season of filming, so I didn't know what to do with that information. The Sir waitress recalled feeling apprehensive about bringing the information to Sandoval's then girlfriend, Ariana. She said, I was naive, so I thought everyone makes up rumors and everyone says things that are crazy. But now I realize that maybe he has been this person the entire time, and I think he enjoyed putting up a facade. A rep for Sandoval told Us Weekly in response, this is absolutely not true. Tom never had an NDA.
Absolutely not true. Absolutely not true about the NDA. Didn't say anything about not cheating. So
very true. Very true. I wish Charlie had brought it up a long time ago. She would have saved Ariana a lot of heartbreak and mess. But then again, Ariana's thriving. So
oh my God, thriving. And she is making a bank. I mean, she really is. She is like pulling in all these endorsement deals. All right. Well, let's break down this first episode of the reunion. And I mean, they went in hard from the get-go on Sandoval. Like guy didn't stand a chance.
No, he really didn't. It was uncomfortable to watch a bit at times. Like, I was kind of glad that Lisa Vanderpump stepped in several times. Tell us in the comments, because I'm sure there's going to be people who are not a fan that Lisa stepped in and people who thought it was the right thing to do. What did you think? Do you think it was right of her to kind of, I don't know if she was standing up for him or just standing up for there not being a fist fight? Right.
Standing up. I did agree with her. Like, I don't know. Like Lala calling him like Randall and like saying that he was dangerous. I mean, it is like, I don't know. I do kind of agree with Lisa in a way, being like, he's not the first person that's ever cheated. And Andy made the point too. Everybody in that group has cheated on their partner, not with their best friend, which takes it to a whole other level.
Katie didn't, right? Katie didn't.
No, Katie didn't. And Chyna hasn't. But I mean, it's.
But Chyna was involved in the
True.
But yeah.
So I guess yes, everybody has cheated at a point, but that doesn't make them dangerous people. I don't think he's preying on people like Randall was. So I mean, that
doesn't have a child with Ariana, which to each their own. Whether you think that makes it worse or not, I think that makes it worse when you have a child together.
100%.
They were, however, living together. They did have the frozen embryos. So I mean, there's a whole other conversation there, but I don't think he's quite on the same level as Randall.
No, I don't think he's on the same level as Randall. A piece of SHIT, yes. Yeah. But I don't think he's on the same level. But I mean, James and Lala that entire time, like I was like getting my popcorn because they were just like hysterical. I mean, and you could tell, I mean, this was filmed only a couple of weeks after this happened. So emotions were really, really high. Yeah, so, and I mean, if they filmed it now, probably would have been totally different. But, this was coming off right on the heels of this. Everybody was angry. James was so fired up because been like, you betrayed me too. Like you betrayed this entire group.
Yeah.
And they were just the worm with the mustache. I just love that James and Sandoval were about to throw down like 5 minutes into this.
I like literally ready to have a fist fight 5 minutes in, which was crazy. I also, another thing, which maybe that we did know this, but I had forgotten. It took Raquel 48 hours to text Ariana after this news broke. That was surprising to me. I'm like, you should have texted her immediately.
Or
what were you trying to do? Wait.
I don't know. Maybe like try to let the dust settle. But like her in that trailer, I mean, hysterical, first of all. Yes. But like the fact that she's sitting there smirking and laughing, like I agree with Ariana, you are diabolical. Like what is going through your head? Like this is not funny. Like these are people's lives. Like it's not like, I don't know if it's like a nervous laughter type of thing, but like
I feel like it is. I feel like she needs like a face coach to teach her how to like react to things, like an acting coach.
Yes, like it was just really it was uncomfortable to watch. It really was. I mean,
it was. Although I did appreciate that she was in the trailer because I know it was all because of the restraining order that she had with Chyna, but I actually thought like it was better that way.
Yes,
like let's do it one at a time and not like have everyone out there all at once.
Yes. No, I agree with you. I feel like if Raquel was out there the entire time, it would have been a full on bloodbath. Yeah. Like it would have been like Red Wedding type of stuff. Like this is just insane. It really is. And then Tom not having their timelines match up is just so
what were they thinking?
It's so cringe. I mean,
how did that happen?
Yeah. Like Schwartz, you were going down with the ship. Like jump off while you can.
Although I think Schwartz is telling the truth. He said he found out.
Oh, yeah.
Tom said he didn't tell him till January, I think.
Yeah.
And at least Tom Schwartz is telling the truth there.
Yeah.
But why would you not get on the same page about that before that?
Yeah, should have had your timelines match up before that. You really should. But and then like Tom trying to apologize in the beginning and they're calling the sad act like effing bullshit. I mean, crocodile tears, like, and then still trying to like victim blame Ariana. Like, we weren't happy. We weren't intimate. Like, that doesn't mean you have to go and F her best friend. Like, you don't just break up with her and stop saying because she was going through a hard time that you wanted to spare her feelings. Well, this makes it 1,000 times worse.
What did you think about Sandoval bringing up that James hooked up with Kristen to get on the show way back in his 20s, as he kept saying?
I mean, he does kind of have a little bit of a point.
Yeah.
And Andy said it too. Like, you guys have all done this, not to this magnitude and for that long, but everybody has crossed paths. I mean, look when Jax and Kristen hooked up. Like I mean, that wasn't a month-long affair too. They weren't in love. But I mean, this has happened in the past.
I feel like I agree. They all had valid points. LVP, Andy Cohen, they all had valid points when they said those things. It is different when you're in your early 20s versus they're like 40 now.
When you're
37, 40. Yes. It is different. You're living together. You own a $2 million home together. Things are different. You know, it's not quite the same as, hey, I'm trying to get on some reality show in my 20s.
Totally. Yeah. It's not like some just random college hookup type of thing. Like this is like you're spending your life with this person. Yeah. And you are a terrible human being and you deserve everything that's coming to you. And I'm just living for all of this. Yeah. It was interesting that Ariana's saying that she wouldn't be close with Lisa if she remained in business with Tom. I thought that was interesting too, because Lisa has been there for Ariana.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of puts Lisa Vanderpump back into a corner. Like, what's she going to do? Like she said, buy them out. Like, she's not going to do that.
Right. It's interesting. Like, she brought up how she has, I mean, I was surprised how supportive Lisa Vanderpump was. I don't know if I call it supportive, but I was surprised.
Yeah.
But she is, like you said, a business partner with them. So if she goes, if Tom goes down, she's going down too. Yeah, and she's going down 95% of it because she owns 95% of it. So it is interesting. It's like, are you backing him because it's good for your business?
Right. And then it makes you think too, would Schwartz still be on Sandoval's side if they weren't in business together? I don't know. I mean, I feel like he does admit he is kind of like his little puppet. He does whatever he says.
Though.
But I wonder if
he might turn the tide and not be on his side. But yeah, they have two businesses together.
Right. I kind of agree with you. I think if he wants to save face with this group at all or have any sort of redemption story, he has to drop the anchor. And that is, Sandoval. He really does. I mean, oh my God, it's so good. But even Tom and Kody kind of going at each other too, Schwartz saying that kiss with Raquel was liberating as she laughs in the trailer, the attack on Joe. And he finally admits that, they were kind of like a friends with benefits situation. There's just so many layers to this.
I couldn't believe he said that Joe would get a cease and desist against Andy if she keeps, slandering or whatever you want to call it on her. That was interesting. I mean, clearly anyone who goes near Tom Schwartz, Kody seems to hate.
Yes, no, that is true. It is true. I mean, he shouldn't have hooked up with Raquel or kissed Raquel. Find somebody else. But they were two people going through a divorce, going through a hard time. And if he wanted to have a relationship with this girl, I mean, I guess with Joe, I mean, you can't really fault him.
No, is she in the friend group too? At some point you have to say who do you want him to be with?
Right.
Be okay. A fangirl,
Sure,
it's not that easy for these guys to meet people who aren't just after fame or wanting to be on a reality show. Right. So I mean, Joe seems like a safe bet to me, although we don't really know much about her.
We don't know much about her. I wonder if she'll be on next season. We'll have to see. I don't know. Oh my God. It's just so crazy. Next week's episode looks and I'm still let us know in the comments what you think this bombshell thing that Raquel says in episode 3, because this is what producers have been teasing. This is another reason why they are delaying shooting until later on. What could it be? We know that she's not pregnant. One of the producers came out and said that that's not it. She's not pregnant. Raquel's not pregnant. But what could it be? And then Dumois said it was throwing oil on a burning body, on Tom's burning body. So I don't know. I can't even put any guesses to it.
I truly don't know. I mean, my guess would be that she's pregnant, but I don't think that's true.
No,
so I don't know. I also thought it was interesting, the conversation that they showed from a few seasons ago that was never aired of Tom talking to the producer off camera about how it's not fair that he and Ariana aren't putting themselves all out there, but other cast members are. What did you think about that?
I mean, I do agree with that. I mean, you are putting your life on reality TV, so you shouldn't really be putting up this facade, if it's not. But who knows? That could have been Sandoval, planting the seeds and being we got to show this so people feel bad for me. And, a couple months down the line, what Ariana said on Call Her Daddy, the plan was for them to break up. And then a few months down the line, they would have gotten together organically, and people would have felt bad for Tom because he was in this terrible sexless relationship.
Right.
I don't know. I think everything he does is so calculated.
It's true. It's hard to think about it it's hard to think about it without thinking, wait, let's think about it with his spin on it now. How did this benefit him? And is that why he did it? Yeah.
I'm still kind of confused on the timeline. So they had the one night stand and then they stopped. And then I guess they started back again in January, it seems like. So that's when it really got going. I think those are some questions that we still have.
I think there's still some questions on how to go from a one night stand to a
to a full-blown affair. Oh my God. Just give us all of it at once. Do a Netflix and just dump it all on us.
I'll pay for it. I will literally pay for it on top of whatever I pay already.
Right. Oh my God. All right. Well, let's move on over to the finale of Summer House. And like we said, the season finally ended off with a bang. Yeah. And Carl and Lindsay returned for this party and things really get intense between Danielle and Lindsay. So I was kind of team Lindsay this entire season. And then in this final conversation, it kind of shifted for me a little bit. I don't know.
I agree.
I feel like everybody would have been team Lindsay if she handled this differently. And now I feel like people are changing sides a little bit.
Yeah. Do I think Danielle's reaction was okay last week or whenever it was the proposal? No, but this was a weird, awful conversation. They do have a long friendship and Lindsay was giving one word answers. She did have a smug face on, like Danielle said. I felt for Danielle in this moment, and I am glad that the girls rallied behind her.
I am too. It was so funny. Everybody's just eavesdropping into that conversation. It's totally something that everybody would do. Being oh my God, we got to run around the house to listen to this. But yeah, I mean, she definitely I get why Lindsay is so mad and so hurt about this, but at least wipe the smirk off your face. And, she's trying to come to you and, try to make amends, try to move forward. But I guess she felt at that point that it was too little too late.
I also feel like Lindsay's a little calculated. I feel like she's like, how am I going to end this season with a guarantee to get on next season? Yeah. I need to have drama and I need to have a storyline. And I think she's smart and savvy. You know, she did work in PR before doing this show. She knows how the media works. She knows what will make headlines. And I feel like that's part of it, that she's kind of sacrificing this friendship to have a storyline.
Yeah, no, you're so right. Like everybody is so calculated. Everybody is just,
Maybe we're just jaded and we just, yeah.
No, you're right. It's like how much of this is real and how much of this is just to make a good TV show, to salvage, this season. I spoke to Carl, which we're going to get to in a little bit, but I said, like, what's kind of the plan for this summer? Are you going to, and he said that he's not really sure, but he's open to showing more of their life in New York City, which I think a lot of people enjoyed, but I just can't see the same group going back this summer. Like, it's just not going to make sense.
Also, like Sam and Corey, like two good looking people. Right. They're very happy together, but like, why do I need to see them again?
I don't need to see them again. Yeah.
What I feel like a lot with this show, especially with these over the top, ridiculous theme parties, which I feel like are very 5 years ago at this point.
Yes, totally.
I just feel like they're all influencers in a house.
Yes.
Like I no longer feel like this show is people working jobs in Manhattan, commuting out to the Hamptons for a much needed break. Like this is their job. They are influencers. Like Sam's lower third even says like content creator, you know, that's another word for influencer. And I just feel like I wish this show was more what it was supposed to be when it started.
Yes. I agree with you. Yes. I mean, but they all became celebrities. I mean, they don't need these everyday jobs anymore because they are the influence. Like, that's what makes it so hard. And like, do you just start over and do a whole different cast, which they did at Martha's Vineyard, but I don't know if that's really connecting with a lot of people as well. It's so hard to kind of start the whole thing over without, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what it kind of goes forward. I mean, is it just, we follow them in New York City more, and then occasionally they go out to the Hamptons it's not really, I mean, they're all moving on with their lives. They're all like in their late 30s, early 40s, married, wanting to start a family. I mean, I just don't see them all gathering together in a home every single weekend and partying.
And the other thing to consider, I'm from Long Island, getting a Hampton summer rental for the entire summer is one of the most expensive things you could possibly do. Like I could never afford that. These people as, Instagram influencers before this show could have never afforded it. Maybe they can now, but like, there's got to be some level of like, I believe this is real. I believe they're actually going to do this, and I've lost it a little bit.
I have to. I really have to. And what also bothered me this episode, if you're going to be on reality TV, you have to show everything. And Maya with Oliver being like, don't be on camera, cover your mic. Like, no, this is not how it goes. This is not how it works. I'm sorry. Like, if he's cheating on you, we need to know about it. And if you don't want to show the bad parts of your life, get off my TV screen.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot. And yeah, first of all, they're still going to hear you if you cover your
right. Mic.
Yeah. Like, we still heard everything.
Yeah.
Clearly you're a rookie when it comes to reality. Yeah. But I totally agree with you. You got to be able to show the good, the bad. That's why we're watching you. It's called reality.
Yeah, it really is. And then, like we said, Paige and Craig kind of are moving in, she's clearing out some closet space for him to spend more extended periods of time in New York and in Charleston. Clearly, I mean, this is almost a year later. So clearly they're still in a good place and doing what works for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I believed more after this episode that she is into him, that she does want to make this work.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but I'm surprised they're not engaged, in real time. Like,
yeah, maybe
timeline.
Right. Who knows? Maybe by the end of the year, maybe they'll be engaged. But I mean, somebody's going to have to make a big move, or they just are, by city, I guess. And, they just spend an extended period of time in both cities, which it works for them.
It is Memorial Day weekend. Maybe they're going to get engaged this weekend.
Maybe. Or maybe they're going to wait till cameras start rolling on Summer House again, like Carl and Lindsay.
I wonder if they're starting to film this weekend.
I think they always start, I remember around 4th of July. So I think we have a little bit of time, but I mean, it's got to be soon. I mean, contracts are probably out. Or maybe they're going to see what happens at the reunion, because the reunion looks good. And I feel like it's like, why do I need to watch this whole season when I could just watch these reunions?
You think it's just going to be a part one? I hope it's just a part one.
It's 2 parts.
2 parts.
2-part reunion. And, I mean, they come in hot. I mean, even Andy says in the reunion trailer that he doesn't think Danielle and Lindsay should be friends anymore. Some cheating allegations come forward about, Kyle and,
that one.
Yeah, bringing up the drug past and things like that. So it's gonna get intense. And we actually caught up with Carl, who talked about Danielle and Lindsay's confrontation and teases what you can expect in the reunion. So take a look. Well, I did watch the finale, and it is pretty intense between Danielle and Lindsay. What were your thoughts on that confrontation? And do you wish it was handled differently, or was that the only option that Lindsay felt like she had at that moment after everything that happened this past summer?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for her. I know, when you have someone you have had a friendship for a while and things kind of went the way they did, it was difficult. I think, again, you'll see at the reunion how Danielle and Lindsay kind of talk through that. I talked about it with Gibson last week. Just, I never want to hurt anybody. And, I think it's unfortunate the way things played out, but, I hope that there's a path forward at some point. And I'm going to remember the good stuff about the engagement and the proposal, because it was about me and her. I know you can play it back 1,000 times and pick up things maybe you wish you did differently, but I did what I thought was best to keep it a surprise. There was a lot of cooks in the kitchen planning a proposal. I'd always hoped and dreamed of doing it in the Hamptons. And I thought, okay, let's try and maybe they can be there to film it too. Like why would that would be awesome. We've been showing our lives, the good, the bad, the ugly for all these years. So I was proud to be able to kind of incorporate it on a weekend where I thought, the house could be there. But it's never easy when you open it up to your relationships. I mean, I've seen from Kyle and Amanda's relationship, always a lot of conversation about what's the good. When you're in a good place, you're too perfect and you're fake. And when you're fighting, you should break up. It's no real middle ground, but I think that's just a function of the show sometimes.
Totally. I mean, it was a beautiful proposal. It really was. You did a great job. But watching it back, do you understand anything from Danielle's perspective at all? Or do you still feel like maybe she kind of overreacted a little bit?
I mean, I think you'll see on the reunion how I kind of talk through that. I think, obviously she was very hurt and very emotional about it, which is, again, I never want to hurt someone, but to make it all about her in that moment was difficult to watch and relive. But, like I said, I think the reunion, we covered that a lot. And, I'm optimistic that there could be some moving forward, but you'll have to see. It was an intense reunion for sure. But, hindsight's always 20/20. I did in that moment what I thought was best to make it special for me and Lindsay and keep it a surprise. And, you can't win sometimes.
Yeah. Was it hard for you when you watched the finale, having everybody kind of listening in on Lindsay and Danielle's conversation? Because that was kind of, uneasy to watch as well, being like everybody eavesdropping in on the conversation and kind of taking Danielle's side as well.
I mean, that's been going on for a few years, let's be honest. Eavesdropping is kind of some of the things that go on in the summer house. It's, I guess, a part of the deal. But I don't want to speak too much. I think the reunion really will kind of address some of that stuff. I mean, it's a tough situation, but you have longstanding friendships and people feel like they're hurt, and sometimes it comes out that way. But yeah, I think the reunion will be good for the viewers to see kind of how things get talked through and, just addressing stuff. Cause there has been a lot of time. I mean, we're almost into June now, and I know it's talking about stuff that happened Labor Day. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. Based on my conversation with Carl, it seems like some resolution was made during this reunion. And I feel like Danielle and Lindsay are going to be friends again.
Yeah. I think if Lindsay was savvy and was trying to do it for a storyline, and she didn't really make a friendship of that long.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. All right. Moving on to our social spotlight of the week. Mine went to Amanda because she posted some real fun behind the scenes moments from their time in from the time over the summer, but it was a comment. I have to get to the comment. Hold on 1 second. So a user commented, said no tag on Lindsay. Well, Amanda commented back saying she untagged herself. I'm not petty like that. So I guess tensions are still running high after the reunion between Amanda and Lindsay.
Geez, that's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just doing a wholesome social media post this week. It goes to the guys of Queer Eye. So I stayed up way too late last night after the reunion, after I watched the reunion for the second time. And I watched some Queer Eye. It's their new season. I think it's season 7. They're in New Orleans. It is quality reality TV. I don't even know if you consider it reality necessarily, but it is such good TV. And if you need a little break from like all the madness of Sandoval and Summer House, go over to Netflix and check out this show again.
I love that.
I've kind of fallen off the wagon with it. I haven't watched it recently. It's seriously so good. I cry like 4 times every episode. And Bobby Burke shared some behind the sines moments with this frat house that they made over. It's the premiere of the season. It's so good. Go over there and watch it.
I remember I spoke to Tan recently, and he said that this by far was his favorite season yet. So make sure you go and check it out. I love that.
It's really good. Like, I feel like the first season of these guys was like amazing. And then I was kind of like, it got too much too soon. Right. And then they're back. They're totally back.
They are back and better than ever. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Reality Recap. I'm sure you guys got a lot to say about the VPR reunion, so definitely let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think that big bombshell is that Raquel is going to drop on us in a couple of weeks, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.